Well, hi, hello, and how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to Front Porch Brunch. It's been a little while. Glad to have all of you here this morning. Front Porch Brunch, if you just happen to be stopping by this fine little live stream, is a thing we do on the weekends. We get together, we talk about the news, we give our views, and we try to make sense out of this crazy thing that we call life. Again, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, sometimes referred to as the wise guy in the wide brim, sometimes called the kid in the lid. On occasion, I'm referred to as the common man with common sense. But in this moment, as always, I am your host. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So please do me some favors, as always. If you have found your way here and you are not a subscriber to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. While you're at it, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment in the chat. It really does help with the algorithm. And my friends, please share the link around with your buddies. Tell them about this fine little going on we have happening here. And let's see if we can grow this channel as best we can. And while you're at it, hit the bell for notifications. That way you're always in the know about what is going on here in terms of a live stream or what have you. So, all right, let's get down to business. Let's see who all is in the house this morning. Let's see. Well, the wing nuts are already here. They are firmly established over there on Rumble. Yeah, we're going to get into this subject. This one kind of surprised everybody last night. Maybe not, though. Maybe not so much of a surprise after all. Let's see. So TBA is here. I know WWG1's hanging out in the house. Yep, there he is doing his WWG1 thing. And good morning, Lana. You wonderful thing, you. Good morning, Tiny Tesla. You wonderful thing. Well, hello. Good morning to you, sir. Where are all the base women at? They gonna be here before it's all said and done, my friend. You can guarantee that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, lots of people just starting to settle in. Glad to have all of you here this morning. Oh, goodness me. Lots to talk about. Oh, goodness. And we're going to get into all of it as much as best we can. So let us begin. We're working on it, Salty. We're working on it. And good morning to you, sir. Anyway, we will begin, as is our wont, with the Merry Memes section of the show. As you all are aware, we have friends who provide us with a lot of laughs on this live stream, and we do our best to try to make sure that we chuckle as much as possible, because honestly, one of the best medicines in life is the ability to laugh. And Lord only knows we got to laugh. Believe me, going through these times, if you ain't laughing, you're crying. So, all right. A new scientific study has come out, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you what, ever since Bobby Kennedy became Secretary of Health and Human Services, thank God for that, man, because we are finally getting the real deal. We're getting some some absolutely 100% solid through and through true scientific studies that are proving us that how much better off we are when we do certain things. For example, did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that according to scientific studies, men get more conservative as they regain brain function? I had always wondered about this, but you know what? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So yeah. Okay. Hang on just a moment. Hang on, dear. 1 second. Okay. We're going to have to look at this. We will definitely check this out, my dear. We're going to put that in the brunch section. One moment, please. Or at least part of it anyway. Oh, yeah. This might get me in trouble, but you know what? What else is new? Hang on. Let me put this over in the in the HodgePodege section, because this could be kind of funny, actually. We'll play some of this. All right, there we go. All right, all set up. Yeah, why not? We'll throw it in. We'll throw it in. Cool. All right. Thank you for the reminder of that, my dear. Good morning, Miss Gypsy. Glad to have you here. Yeah, it is kind of funny that Fetterman got sorry. It is kind of wild that Fetterman got smarter after he got the stroke. Who knew? Anyhow. So as you all are aware, well, good morning, AH. Glad to have you here with us. Glad to have you in the house. So as y'all are fully aware, the president hosted the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. And look, let's just be perfectly honest about it. There are always differences between American culture and Middle Eastern culture. And I don't know how this subject came up, but apparently Trump was very, very impressed indeed with the Crown Prince's clothing. I find that shocking. I really do, because Trump is a very well-dressed man himself, tailored suits, that sort of thing. But apparently he was just quite taken with the Crown Prince's attire. Now, how this question got asked, I don't know, but the thing that Trump focused on the most, believe it or not, was his turban. The headwear that the Crown Prince was wearing. And I don't know how this got brought up or when, but Trump wanted to know, where the guy got his hat. Apparently it wasn't that hard to figure out if you stop and think about it. So I don't know, man. See, it's when Trump gets into these kind of when he gets into these kind of things, I start getting nervous. I'm like, man, he's going to commit some major cultural faux pas here, and this is not going to be good. But apparently, yeah, Trump wanted to know where the Crown Prince got his turban. There you go. What can you say? Maybe the answer was closer to home more than Trump realized. Yeah. Oh my goodness, look who's in the house. Sean, how you doing this morning, you wild man? You oak-hewn juggernaut. How are you this morning? I'm doing well, sir. I'm doing very well indeed. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Good to have you here. And by the way, as always, check out this guy's channel on Rumble. He is growing by leaps and bounds. And, give him a follow, give him a sub, follow him on Twitter, wherever he's got something going in social media, check him out, because he is one cool dude. One very cool dude. All right, what else have we got going on this morning in the way of the merry memes? I'll tell you what, the boys were very busy this morning. As a matter of fact, did I see something? Nope, hang on a minute. Salty old fart threw something in after the fact. Oh yeah. We're going to get to that one. Hang on. Yeah, I think we'll throw that one right there, actually. And matter of fact, that's probably a better one. Yeah, we'll do it that way. All right, thank you, sir. Yes, he is. He is quite goated. Very much so indeed. Very much so. Wait. You got merch? You got merchandise? Holy cow, this guy, I tell you, never missing an opportunity. Nah, don't worry about it, dude. Don't worry about it at all. Oh, goodness me. Well, Recovery and Republicans Anonymous, pretty well. It's a day-by-day thing, step by step, slowly but surely. And I tell you what, Somebody who else I think is maybe on her way to recovery in Republicans Anonymous, maybe old MTG, but we'll get to that story here in a few minutes. But good morning to you, Kawan. Glad to have you in the house this morning. Oh, for heaven's sake. Oh, good grief. A flying carpet. Seriously? And you're singing from Aladdin. Oh my God. I'm gonna tell you what. Awful. Just plain awful. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into this. We are very much gonna get into this. Oh my goodness. Goodness me. All right, what else do we have going on here this fine morning? You know what? This thing with Trump doing something and being taken to court over it is getting downright ridiculous. That man, I swear, it's reaching the point. I honestly think if Trump walks out and says the sky is blue, then you're going to have a situation where somebody's going to take him to court over it. Matter of fact, it's getting so ridiculous. He's actually been challenged over the fact that he pardoned the turkey. That's right, folks. Trump tried to pardon the turkey as part of the annual Thanksgiving festivities, and immediately he got taken to court and overturned by a Chicago judge. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Totally crazy. Hoya bay. I mean, what's next? You know, he decides to put on a particular pair of socks, and then someone's going to be like, oh, no, can't do that. We got to sue you over it. Oy. But yeah, the turkey apparently, and see, this is what I don't get. This is what I don't get at all. Okay. If Trump is pardoning the turkey, which means the turkey does not suffer the fate of being used for somebody's Thanksgiving dinner, okay? By going and suing Trump in court, that means the turkey is going to be used as someone's dinner. If these people had an ounce of sense, they would have never brought this lawsuit. But no one ever said people on the political left were, that sort of thing. Yikes. Yikes. We talked a little bit earlier in the week about this delegate from the Virgin Islands, Plaskett, who was getting text messages from Jeffrey Epstein. Well, it turns out that we now know what some of the actual language in those texts were. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but apparently Jeffrey Epstein, told her, now tell them a really big lie. And then she went on to say in the committee hearing, I am here to represent my constituents. Little did we realize how much of what she said came from that man. Yikes. Oh, goodness me, goodness me, goodness me. Everybody on the conservative side of the aisle has been trying to figure out a good answer to the question of, how do we address this thing in our culture today about how many genders there actually are? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was forwarded something which convinces me that we got a really good answer for going back to Plaskett, definitely was her constituents. So, anyway, we finally have a really good answer for how to deal with the question of how many genders are there, and I think you're going to appreciate this. So check out this less than 10-second response that you get to use with all of your friends.
How many genders are there?
2.
What are they?
Male, female.
What about the people that say there's like 20 different types?
Well, there's 2 genders and a near infinite number of mental illnesses.
Boy, I tell you what, I couldn't have said that better myself. 2 genders and an infinite number of mental illness. There you go. There you go. All right, what else do we have here? What else do we have? A lot has been made recently in recent days about, the cost of healthcare, which is constantly going up. And it needs to be addressed. And in all seriousness, seriously, this is something that absolutely needs to be addressed. But we also need to, put the blame where it belongs. Well, Representative Eli Crane, Republican of Arizona, has found a great way to do that. When Senator Raphael Warnock made the statement, health care should not cost $1,000. Hey, Eli's like, hey, at least tag Barack Obama in that tweet if you're going to attack him like that. And you know what? Eli Crane is absolutely right. So I'll just let this one stay up here for a second and let you guys think about it. As I grab a quick sip of water. No. Wait a minute. You cannot do this to me this early on a Saturday morning. Okay? You can't do this to me. You're going to start a fight in my chat between the men and the women. And I got to referee this thing. Now, Sean, I love you, but you can't do this to me. Okay? Come on now. Dude, I'm just messing with you, man. Do your thing. Do your thing. But yeah, you know what's going to happen when you drop a comment like that, right? You're going to put me right in the middle of it. Okay? Now, Sean, look what's happening. He's going to back you up because he's a wingnut, and then it's on. I got a fight going in my chat between men and women over what you just said. Thanks a lot, dude. Appreciate it. Yeah, buddy. Really? Really? You're going to just jump right in on that one. Oh, my God. Just blessed Lord, help me. Hello, small time. Haven't seen you in a while, dude. Yeah, exactly. Let's blame Canada. Sean, you're going to start that. You have opened up your nation to much ridicule, my friend. No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Lord. Oh, for heaven's sake. No, for heaven's. Ladies, you do not have to respond to this. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. Don't take the bait. I mean, look, you know how Sean is. He is an infinite stir of the stink, okay? He's infinitely good at it, all right? Why are we blaming homogenized milk? What is that? I don't know. I don't understand. Oh, for heaven's sake. I don't know. Y'all are just awful. Just plain awful. I am a fan and have been a big fan for years of Dr. Thomas Sowell, that great economist. And every so often, some statement that he made is posted as a meme on social media. And you cannot ever go wrong with a good Thomas Sowell quote. And I'm just going to put this one up here. Indeed he do, my friend. Indeed he do. Indeed he do. And I'm just going to put this one up here and let you guys think about it. So chew on this. And oh man, I tell you what, this is probably one of the most profound questions Dr. Thomas Sowell ever asked. Ever asked. So true indeed. So true indeed. What exactly is your fair share of what someone else has worked for? Buddy, let me tell you. There's a lot of reasons why I love Thomas Sowell, and it's stuff like this that's one of them. I don't know if he was taught by Milton Friedman or not, but I'll tell you what, gosh, Milton Friedman and Thomas Sowell in the latter half of the 20th century, and actually, you could argue Thomas Sowell into the 21st century, absolutely profound the impact they had on so many people in terms of teaching them the basics of economics. I mean, if anybody should ever get the Presidential Medal of Freedom, it ought to be this guy. If he didn't get it before somebody else, somebody ought to give it to this guy. before he passes from this world. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely a national treasure. Totally. Totally soul. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I could see that as they were contemporaries of each other. Oh, Friedman taught soul at university. Okay. Didn't realize that, but that would tend to make a lot of sense. A lot of sense indeed. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to drop this one on the Rumble side and on the YouTube side. So if you ever want to use this one on somebody, never let it be said you didn't get it. So there you go, folks. There you go. All right. What else have we got this morning? You know, there ought to be truth in advertising in everything. Okay. I don't care what industry you're involved in. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care anything else. You ought to be required to deliver on what you say you're going to do. I mean, after all, if you go and stand on a manhole cover and it says it's going to do this for you, you ought to be expected to be taken somewhere other than where you were. I mean, really, why is this sort of thing allowed on the streets? Why? I ask you, why? I mean, it says it's going to teleport you somewhere. Why is it not teleporting you? Can we not get some honest, actual truth in advertising? Can we please pass some kind of a city ordinance or a state law? I don't think we need federal on this, but can we at least get some truth in advertising here? Really? Oh, you have to lift the lid first. Okay, well, I did not realize that. Well, but see, that gets to another issue. I mean, are you really going to be walking along with the kind of device that you need to lift the lid on a manhole cover? Really? Why can't you just stand on the thing and let it do what it says it's going to do? I don't know, man. I don't get it. I do not get it. Absolutely crazy. Oh my goodness. You know, parents, especially if they're working away from their loved ones, in other words, they're in another city or another state, maybe even another country, they always make it a point to tell their family, hey, I'm going to make it home for Christmas. Okay. But sometimes you need a little bit of help making that happen. Well, here in America, these days, we're helping a lot of people make it home for Christmas. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So, all those parents that keep telling their kids, hey, don't worry, I'll be home for Christmas. Look, the federal government of the United States is trying to make that happen for millions of individuals inside this country. Don't worry, you're going to make it home for Christmas. There you go, folks. There you go. All right. One more, and then we're going to get into our first story of the morning. And this one is kind of a good lead in for it, actually. This is kind of a good lead in for it. Now I will tell you up front. I don't know if this one is true. I don't know if this one's accurate, but it does make you wonder. And it goes like this. According to financial reports, at least what has been put into this meme, MTG's net worth when she first got to Congress was a little over 700,000. She might now be worth 20 to 25 million. Again, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but it does make you wonder, man, how do these people that go up there to serve the public wind up coming out richer than when they went in? I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Santa Homan, okay. Well, I thought it was Santa Claus, but you know what? You're right. He is coming to town. All right. Much thanks as always to TBA, WWG1, Salty, and so many others. Now that is true. Not quite in the Pelosi ballpark, but you know what? She's getting there. Our girls well, you got to also remember too, Pelosi was in Congress for over 30 years. She had a whole lot more time to ply her trade than did Marjorie Taylor Greene, which, by the way, if you have not heard yet, after I say my thank yous to WWG1, Salty, TBA, Adam, everybody who contributes, thank you ever so much for the memes. We genuinely do appreciate it, and keep them coming, man. Keep them coming. What are you saying here, sir? The have from inside information. What's not to get, Brian? Do you have the fedora in your ears or something? Okay, I didn't say that I didn't know how they get this stuff done. I'm just saying they're definitely doing it. Anyway, well, no, I do not have felt stuck in my ears. Thank you very much, TBA. Oy vey, y'all are awful this morning. Just plain awful. All right. If you have not heard about this yet, and this broke late last night, you can like her, not like her. You can agree with her, you can disagree with her. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, in the short time that she was in Congress, was an absolute force of nature. I mean, it's hard to believe that she's only there since 2020, I think it is. Yeah, 2020. And she dropped a bombshell last night that I don't quite think the White House is appreciating what this is going to mean for them. Was it 2000? Okay, she got in 2021. Wow. Oh my goodness. She's only been there elected in 2020. So she would have been reelected in 22. She's only been there 2 terms. And in 2 terms, Marjorie Taylor Greene was absolutely making a difference. This rumor is flying. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to talk about this. We're going to absolutely talk about this. But to get to the headline from thehill.com, Marjorie Taylor Greene announced that she is resigning from Congress. Article by Sudishka Kuchi and Emily Brooks. We have the following. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia, announced on Friday that she is resigning from Congress, saying that she refused to be a, quote, battered wife following her public fallout with President Trump, in which he unendorsed her and called her a traitor. The decision comes 1 week after Trump pulled his support from the Georgia Republican as her fissures with the president reached the boiling point over the Epstein files. All right, we've got a little bit of a video here, and I want to play it for you guys. And this runs about 2.5 minutes, but if you want a good idea of what went down here or what her thinking was, hey, the whole video was 10 minutes long. So, I thank the folks at thehill.com for condensing this down a little bit. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene on her decision to not seek re-election. What? Wait a minute. Wait. Hold it. My fault. Technical. Okay, here we go.
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher. Corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts. American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country. And instead, the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
Okay, so that is a part of a 10-minute video that Marjorie Taylor Greene posted last night explaining her thinking as to why it is she's resigning from the Congress. You know, I've got various thoughts about this, and I want to get you guys' take on it too. And I'll start first with this reaction from Gypsy. Give me 1 second here. It's a disgusting slap to everyone who voted for. It's a shame. Suck it up until the next election. See, I can understand the why. I get it. I mean, I've always said, as many of you all probably have too, that serving in the Congress should not be some kind of lifetime thing. I mean, again, my state is not a real good example of this. Good grief, Robert Byrd was in the United States Senate from the 1950s until his death. We're talking, I think Byrd was elected in 56. Hang on a minute. Now I got to look this up. Now I got to absolutely look this up. 1 moment, please. I know he was first elected to the House of Representatives in the 50s, but I'm not sure. Yeah, 1959, sworn in 1959 and died in 2010 in office. Okay. And he was in the U.S. House of Representatives from like 53 to 59 before he went to the Senate. So, I mean, we're talking from like the beginning of the 1950s, the Eisenhower era, okay, to the time he died. Robert Byrd was in the Senate. Byrd is the poster child for so many things, but one of them is why you should have term limits, okay? So, but my point being, okay, I can understand not spending your entire adult life in American politics, elected American politics, okay? But if you're there to try to make a difference, cutting and running after 2 terms is not exactly the way to do what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, for example, and I've talked about this before on this channel, William Wilberforce, the great member of the House of Commons in the 18th century, led about a 50-year fight to abolish slavery in the British Empire. He would introduce that resolution every year, and every year it would get turned down until finally, toward the end of his life and the end of his time in the House of Commons, William Wilberforce saw the abolition of slavery in the British Empire. Now, do I think that in her time in Congress that Marjorie Taylor Greene would have accomplished, such great and lofty things that I could compare her, I could put her alongside of William Wilberforce as an example of an effective legislator? No, I don't know what Marjorie Taylor Greene would have accomplished in Congress had she stayed. I know that in the time that she was there, she was a voice for her district. And, like I say, you can agree with her, disagree with her, whatever, but, she was pretty consistent. I mean, like I said, I understand her thinking. I get it. Well, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But in terms of actual legislative accomplishment, I'll agree with you. But at least she was one more populist voice in the Congress, trying to at least move the needle and talk about real issues that affect Americans. And again, you can agree with her, disagree with her, that's fine. But at least she used her voice to try to bring attention to things that, the average Americans are talking about. And I don't like, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't like the idea that, she didn't get her way on something and she just walked out. Well, Salty, you may be absolutely right. You may be absolutely right. Could be, could very well be that's the case. But she's resigning. She'll resign on January 5th. And who was it earlier in chat? Who was it? Hang on a minute. Was it? Hang on. Yeah, here it is. Her congressional pension vests on January 3rd. Could be why she's retiring January 5th. Could be. Could very well be. And you know what? I don't even begrudge her the pension. I don't begrudge her that. Not at all. I just don't think. I mean, she's made the announcement. It's now public. There's no stopping it. Unless, of course, she publicly changes her mind and decides to stay in. Honestly, for all of Donald Trump's, bellicose ballyhooing, excuse me, about I'm going to primary challenge her and blah, 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 she still would have won. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, even though she's only in Congress for a very short amount of time, to me is very similar to Thomas Massey. Okay. You could spend all the money you want to trying to primary her out. She ain't going to lose. That's the kind of bond that she has with her constituents. Okay. Seriously, I really do not believe that Donald Trump or any of his buddies or newfound buddies, let me put it that way, any of his newfound buddies would have been successful in trying to get her out of her seat. She would have won her primary and she would have gone on to win in the general election in 2026. Okay. I just, like I say, agree with her, disagree with her. I just don't think this is good for the country. Well, see, I don't even know that that's the case. I really don't. Maybe that's true, Sean. Maybe it's absolutely true. But I don't think she would have. I really don't. And frankly, there's something to be said with going out with your boots on as opposed to doing what she's doing. Oh, I don't like what's happening. I'm going to leave. Yeah. And not even finishing out her term. I mean, I would have understood it more if, she would have announced, hey, I'm not going to seek re-election. Here are my reasons why. Instead, she's just picking up her toys and going home. Which, again, she's got the right to do it. I just don't see where this helps anybody. It doesn't help her district. Doesn't help the people she purports to represent. Doesn't help the movement that she says she's a part of. Like I said. Well, yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, it did. I mean, it does. It really does. Sean says, very black-pilled and yeah, I get it. Then if you don't like, stay in the fight. I mean, you have the right to bow out. I'm not saying you don't, but if you're wanting to make a difference, stay in the fight. Look at Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey gets accused of being a backbencher and he's ineffective and whatever. And you know what? He worked it and got past, I would argue, one of the more significant statements from the people to their government. We want the Epstein files released. Now, does that mean he's going to get exactly what he wants out of that? No, but he stayed in the fight and he worked with what he had, and he made on that issue, he made the people's voice heard. You know, I just don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is serving her constituents and the movement she purports to be a part of by doing this. I mean, again, her total right to do it. I don't disagree with that at all. You know, but I hate seeing this happen. And again, do I agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene on everything? Heck no. No, I mean, sometimes you have to use a scalpel and sometimes you have to use a sledgehammer. There were moments when Marjorie didn't know the difference. Okay? She just went in with a sledgehammer all the time. Well, yeah, no, that's true too. Totally true. Absolutely true. I can't fault her for that. I mean, you know, served a little over 5 years in the House and she left. I respect that. I'm not saying, yeah, I agree with you there. Let's see what else people are saying here. What else have we got? Let's see. Let me back it up here a little bit and see who all is in the 17 George. Hello, George. How you doing this morning? Glad to have you here. No, I don't think she want to be the next Pelosi. Good God, no. Good God, no. Yeah, well, we're gonna get to Trump's angle on this here in a second. We're gonna get to Trump's angle here in a second. Let's see what else we got here. I want to put up on screen. Yeah, true. That's true, WWG1. Totally true. Let's see, what other comments have we got here? All right, I think I'm not gonna say it's everybody's comments, but I think we're getting a significant portion of people represented here. Yeah, I hate to see this happen. I really do. I mean, I understand being discouraged. I understand being in a place where you're like, be here anymore. I understand that. But you signed on for the gig. At least finish out your term. At least do that. You know, I would totally understand that part of it. Hang on one second, folks. I got a request from the audience. Something that I'm saving for later. One moment, please. Okay. Got that set up for later. Kawan, you're going to get your wish on that one, brother. Oh, I forgot to say hello to somebody. Hello, Scott. How you doing this morning, sir? Good to have you in the house. Now let's get back to this MTG thing for a second. Okay. And I think some of her, going back to Marjorie Taylor Greene, some of her constituents are definitely not happy about her decision to leave the Congress. Matter of fact, we've got some reaction from her constituents. Check this out.
I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
I spent millions of my own money.
Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
Well, they're not taking kindly to it. I'll tell you that much. That much is definitely for sure. A little rough back there in old Georgia. Now, Donald Trump wasted no time whatsoever. Okay, hello, Zippy. We are glad you're here, Zippy. We acknowledge your presence and appreciate your attendance as always. Well, Donald Trump wasted no time gloating over the resignation of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I want to talk about this because, and I've seen your comments in the chat, by the way. I really have. And I can't disagree with any of it when it comes to Trump right now. So let me pop this up here. This is from Truth Social. Marjorie Traitor Brown, because of her plummeting poll numbers and not wanting to face a primary challenger with a strong Trump endorsement where she would have no chance of winning, has decided to call it quits. Her relationship with the worst Republican congressman in decades, Thomas Massie of Kentucky, also known as Rand Paul Jr., because he votes against the Republican Party and really good legislation, did not help her. For some reason, primarily that I refused to return her never-ending barrage of phone calls, Marjorie went bad. Nevertheless, I will always appreciate Marjorie and thank her for her service to her country. Donald, shut up. Shut up. You are not helping yourself here right now. Shut up. You're an idiot. You are a first-class, gold-plated idiot. I heard it recently said that politics is the art of addition as opposed to subtraction. And right now, this man, Donald Trump, needs all the friends he can get. It's stuff like this that makes me want to walk up, grab him by the scruff of the neck, and slap the crap out of him. No, Secret Service, that was not intended as an actual threat. Chill the out. That was metaphorically speaking. Yes. And it's stuff like this is why. It is stuff like this, comments like that, things he's doing, you know. Look, if you don't agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene, just simply give her a simple send-off, okay? You could go out on Truth Social and be gracious. If you wanted to get rid of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Donald Trump, congratulations, you got your wish. She's leaving. You win. You won. Be gracious in victory. Of course, I don't think it's a victory. I think this is a loss. Look, I mean, as always, I'm going to give advice. Not that I think that Donald Trump's ever going to listen to me or his people are going to listen to me, that anybody is going to watch, or that anybody's necessarily at the White House watching my live stream. But if I could give the White House some advice, can you please, number one, try to be gracious in victory. Number two, understand something. Just because Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't agree with you on everything doesn't mean you should run your mouth and run her down. I mean, after all, why was it in the end that Marjorie Taylor Greene had such a problem with Donald Trump? Well, it might be this. It might indeed be this. I got a clip here from C-SPAN. One of my other favorite congressmen, Tim Burchett of Tennessee. I love that guy. Absolutely commonsensical and a true representative of Appalachia, or Appalachian culture, I should say. So Tim Burchett goes on C-SPAN and he's asked about Marjorie Taylor Greene and gives the following response. Check this out.
Congressman Burchett, what do you think about this breakup? What's going on here?
You see that a lot in politics. You also see people kiss and make up. I don't know that those two will ever. But Marjorie, she's been an independent person since she got here, and President Trump obviously speaks his mind, and they're in a complete disagreement right now. And
is this about Epstein, or is there something broader about this relationship that's
this
more
town is
representative?
never about what's current.
Right. So what do you think is this about?
personality difference that's come a long way. She's upset about the perceived control of Israel. She's up in Trump's embracing of Israel, and she's upset over several other things.
Now, if that's the case, if that's really what's driving Marjorie Taylor Greene here, then I get it. I look again, do I agree with her decision to resign from the Congress? Not necessarily. I think she should stay in the fight as long as she wants to. If she's going to leave, do it for reasons other than what she's saying. Okay? If she'd come out and said, you know what, I had only planned to stay here for 3 terms, 2026, would be me meeting that obligation. I'm choosing not to run for election. I'd understand that. Okay. I'd hate to see her go, because I think her voice is important right now. Her voice, along with Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, and many others, are voices that Donald Trump needs to be listening to, not whoever he's, playing tiddlywinks with right now. Okay. I would understand it if Marge had done that. But if she's leaving because of what she perceives to be her inability to get Trump or his White House out from under the influence of a foreign government, which a lot of people, by the way, are making that very statement, that Trump's being too much influenced by all the wrong people, especially on matters of foreign policy, then I can understand why she's leaving. I just hate seeing her do it. And then you got Donald Trump going around, with I want to put that back up again, because yeah, you're probably right, Gypsy. I probably am working up a rant, and it's just it's not going to take me long to get there. Let's put it like that. Then you got Donald Trump running his mouth and putting this kind of crap out there. Marjorie Traitor Brown. And then the just overwhelming arrogance. The overwhelming arrogance. Not wanting to face a primary challenger with a strong Trump endorsement. Well, let me tell you something there, Donald. You've endorsed a lot of duds over the years who didn't go on to do diddly in an election. So don't give me that crap about, with a strong Trump endorsement. Blow it out your ear, you idiot. Which, frankly, is where your brains are going, right out your ears. And who was it earlier, just a moment ago? Who was it? Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything to be kind. Look, she's leaving. You got what you wanted, okay? You got what you wanted. She's going out the door. Be gracious about it. Be gracious about it. But no, you can't even do that, you idiot. Again, a piece of advice for the Trump White House. You might disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene, but you need this woman. Somebody reminded me of this on Twitter when I read it. I forget who it was who posted it. Marjorie Taylor Greene was going up to New York City back during the days when Trump was being on trial for everything, including, changing the wrong kind of socks. Marjorie Taylor Greene was up at the courthouse in New York City defending him behind a microphone, along with several other members of the Congress. But Marjorie Taylor Greene was there. Marjorie Taylor Greene was calling Donald Trump on the floor of the House during some votes saying, hey, can you talk to this guy? Can you work him a little bit? We need your help. And he would. They had that kind of relationship. But because she disagreed with him on one thing Trump was doing, Trump's like, I'm out. Everybody's talking about the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene's leaving. How about the fact that Donald Trump left her a long time ago, apparently? Like maybe after he took his hand off the Bible from getting sworn in for the second term? Oh, and Scott, this is a great point. He's talking about how his endorsement would make somebody bulletproof. Yeah, let's talk about Herschel Walker. Let's talk about any number of people over the years he's endorsed and didn't win. Strong Trump endorsement makes him whatever. Idiot. Yeah, here's another. Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of the very few people in Congress trying to get the folks who were in prison because of January 6th freed. You know, I don't know. TBA, I don't know that we're ever going to know. I really don't know that we're ever going to know. And small time, you are so right about this. Oh, and Zippy, this is a good one. This is a good one, my friend. Yep. Oh, what were their names? Waldorf, and what was the other one? I can see him on my mind's eye, and I think of the name of one of them. I can't think of the other one. If somebody got that, drop it in chat. The two guys up in the balcony during the Muppets who would make all the comments. One of them was called Waldorf, and I can't remember the other one. Well, okay, and I can understand that. I could understand that. You know, it's just she's leaving. And again, that's one issue unto itself. But the way Donald Trump is acting, it's just this right here is one more example of why he's losing his base. It is. This is the kind of stuff he's not helping himself. Statler and Waldorf. Thank you very much. If anybody was going to know the answer to this, you know this guy would. Just saying. I mean, you know, when the Democrats win back the House in 2026, notice I didn't say if. I said when they do, Donald Trump's going to blame everybody else, as he is prone to do. The one person above all else he ought to blame is himself. He should. Blame yourself, because you, sir, did the one thing that Rush Limbaugh said would cause you to lose your people. You broke the bond. Now, do I expect every politician that gets elected to office to fulfill every campaign promise that they make? Not necessarily. And that could happen for various reasons. But what Trump is doing right now is just beyond stupid. It is just beyond idiotic. You were elected to do certain things. Just do them. Just try and do them to the best of your ability. You said you would get us out of foreign wars. We're bombing Israel. You said that you would make, things more affordable in the United States. All right, that takes time. I give you that. But the thing about keeping us out of foreign wars, that's easy. Just don't get involved in them. Don't go around bombing Iran. Don't go around whatever. Just do that. Okay? You do those things, your people are going to respond, and they're going to come out for you, and they're going to try and help you. I'm going to be honest. And again, it's real early. We've got a year to go. Okay? But I don't know that it's so early that we can't start seeing what's coming. Trump needs every one of his people to come out and vote. Right now, he's giving them no incentive to do it. None. Absolutely none. Oh, Sean, hold that thought, brother, because we're going to get into this. We're absolutely going to get into this. We're going to get into it. I've been wanting to do it for days now. And now that, now that we've got some time on a Saturday morning, I want to get into this discussion about this whole Ukraine thing that's going on right now. We're going to get into that. I hate to see more. I mean, again, forgive me if I'm being repetitive, but I hate to see her leave. And if she was going to leave, I wish she would have done it differently and maybe for different reasons. And again, will we ever totally know why she decided to resign? No, I don't think we will, at least not yet. But I hate to see her leave. But worse than that, I hate to see the way Donald Trump is acting. He won. Be gracious in victory, but you can't even do that. Just, I don't know, man. I do not know. And oh, by the way, I'll make your prediction right now. Now, and some of you may know this, some of you may not. Marjorie Taylor Greene is single, and she does have a boyfriend. But when I say single, I mean she's not married. Let me rephrase that. Her boyfriend is a gentleman named Brian Glenn, who is the CEO of Right News Network, I believe is what it's called. And he's been granted press access to the White House, which means he gets to ask questions of the president. He's in the press pool. What do you want to bet? What do you want to bet somewhere in the next few days or weeks when Brian Glenn goes to ask Donald Trump a question that Trump's going to bring up Marjorie Taylor Greene in front of Brian Glenn, in front of the White House press pool? What do you want to bet he's going to do it? He'll make some snarky comment just because he can. You watch and see if he doesn't do it. I don't know. Just like I said, I just hate to see this. I really do. One more thought about this, and this is not mine, but you want to lay some money on this? Yeah, I'm telling you, he'll do it. Trump's going to do it. And when he does, he'll just rub salt in the wound, not necessarily even of Marjorie Taylor Greene supporters, but people who respect her stand on certain issues that they care about, that Marjorie Taylor Greene was giving voice to. You think there's a bet out on Polymarket? Really? You think that's out there, right? that would be funny if we're sitting here on this live stream and then all of a sudden we go out to Polymarket and find out someone's made a bet on Trump making a snarky comment to Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. That would be priceless. Oh my word, that would be priceless. Oh my gosh. Jeez, that'd be funny. One more thought on this Marjorie Taylor Greene resignation. This comes from a really good commentator on social media named Mario Nafal. I want to read this because this is good. From Mario's Twitter post, MTG pulled off the smartest political move of her career. Everyone's treating MTG's resignation like a loss. They're missing the point. MTG didn't quit because Trump scared her off. She quit because she's playing the long game, fighting a Trump-funded primary smear camp 2 months before election season kicks off would be spectacularly stupid. Here's what she actually preserved: her position as MAGA's undisputed ideological leader. Pick any real MAGA issue: the Epstein files, food costs, big pharma, America first over Israel first, military-industrial complex opposition, and she's been the most vocal and consistent voice. That's a track record you don't torch in a petty primary fight. Trump calling her a traitor for disagreeing on a few issues. Her response: bow out graciously, call out the threats, maintain the moral high ground while staying politically viable for Senate, governor, presidency, or even VP to J.D. Vance down the line. The brilliant part: she exits as the principled one who wouldn't play battered wife to Trump's vindictiveness while keeping herself at the top choice for MAGA's next generation leadership. No messy primary loss on her record. No algorithmic destruction campaign eating away at her credibility. Just a clean exit with maximum future leverage. MTG isn't done. She just refused to let Trump decide when and how her political story ends. That's not weakness. That's chess. You know, I hadn't thought about it like that. And maybe, this is one person's perspective. But maybe he's right. Maybe Mario Nafal is absolutely right about this. I mean, we'll see. Well, could be two, could be that. He could be absolutely, hopeful thinking here. I don't know, but I thought I'd share that with you guys. I thought it was an interesting perspective on it. Yeah, it does. It kind of makes sense in its own way. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine, who I've mentioned on this live stream before, who I affectionately refer to as Smiling Jack. Smiling Jack and I were having a conversation. He said, called me up one night and said, Trip, let me run something past you. I was like, okay, what is it? What if J.D. Vance resigned from the vice presidency? I was like, what? I was like, say that again. He's like, what if J.D. Vance resigned from the vice presidency? I was like, okay, give me your argument. Let's hear it. He's like, look, Trump's in trouble. Trump's going down. What if J.D. Vance, to preserve himself with the MAGA base, resigned the vice presidency and just kind of hung out there, wait in the wings waiting? Now, my first reaction to that was, I can't see J.D. Vance doing it. He's too loyal. Second of all, he would get the accusation, hey, you got out when the fight was getting tough. I can't see him doing it, but there's a certain amount of logic to it. Maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene's thinking the same thing here. Maybe Mario Nafal is onto something. And we'll see. We'll absolutely see. But anyway, I think the Congress is losing a good one. I really do. I would have liked to see her stay in. I mean, look, Thomas Massey is getting beat up all the time. I mean, Trump's probably going to make, what is this now? Probably his second or third attempt to get Thomas Massey primaried. Really? You think so? Interesting. That's interesting. For health reasons. Huh. Okay. Who knows? I mean, look, with the Trump White House, who knows? You might be right. You might be absolutely right. You might be absolutely right. Okay. Could be. Could be. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. We're going to shift to a different topic. But before we do, let me do a real quick commercial. If you have happened upon this live stream and you say to yourself, my gosh, this guy's ranting, he's raving, he's sometimes making sense. No, he's always making sense. You have found your way to Front Porch Brunch, and my name is Brian Trippett. I am known in social media as the Front Porch Conservative. So if you like what we're talking about, if you love these wonderful people in chat who are here loyally all the time, God love them. If you like what we're talking about, do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel on YouTube and subscribe on Rumble. And while you're at it, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, share the link around with your friends, hit the bell for notifications. We'll do everything we can here to try to make sure you're always aware when something new is coming out. All right. Let's talk about the political odd couple that met yesterday. President Donald Trump and New York City Mayor Zohran Momdani. And I say the political odd couple because the whole thing was odd. The whole thing is odd in general. By the way, there was a medical emergency at the White House yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard about this or not, but apparently Momdani had to be taken to the hospital after meeting with Trump. I mean, they didn't make a big deal out of it while he was there, but Momdani suffered a medical emergency that had required attention. Totally required attention. Matter of fact, what happened was after Momdani shook hands with Donald Trump, this is what his hand looked like. I mean, these are the X-rays from the hospital, and I tell you what, I feel bad for Momdani. I mean, if this is what Donald Trump did to him with a handshake, this is something else. Jeez, oh Pete, remind me that if I ever get the chance to meet Donald Trump, remind me to make sure that my grip is good and firm and ready, because if you give Donald Trump a weak handshake, folks, this is what Trump could wind up doing to you just by shaking hands with the guy. It's crazy. But yeah, Momdani apparently had to receive medical attention after his handshake with Trump. Now, I joke about this a little bit, but this was weird. I'm serious. This was weird on so many levels. I mean, Donald Trump is almost 80 years old. He's of a certain generation. Okay. He is a baby boomer through and through. Okay. Momdani is how old is Momdani? Hang on a minute. I gotta look this up. I gotta see this. Zoran Momdani. How old is this guy? He is 34. 34. Okay. For you people that are all good on this generational stuff, does that make him a millennial? Does that make him a Gen Zer? What does that make him exactly? What does that make Momdani? He's 34 years old, so he would have been born in 91. Good God, I was in college in 91. There's okay. Zoran, thank you for depressing the crap right out of me when I think about that. Jeez, okay. I was in college in 91. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so he is a millennial. Okay, he is a millennial. Okay. All right. You got a baby boomer in Donald Trump. You got a millennial in Momdani. Okay. You have supposedly a conservative politician in Donald Trump, and you have somebody in Zoran Momdani who's anything but conservative. Okay. You have one who's the president of the United States, Donald Trump. You have Zoran Momdani, who's now the newly elected mayor of New York City. If anything, these two should mix like oil and water. The funny thing about it is, those two got along swimmingly yesterday, at least according to all accounts. Now, who was it a little bit earlier? Who was it that said Trump? Oh yeah, it was Sean. Trump showed weakness in this Momdani thing. I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know what was going on behind closed doors. Nobody does, except for those who were there. But yesterday had to be one of the most surreal things I've ever seen. It really was. I mean, my God, it was just plain. Well, I'll give you I'll give you a perfect example of it. I got a clip here from the New York Post, and I'll pop this thing up on screen. If you want an idea of how this meeting went, oh well, thank you, AH. Thank you, AH. I appreciate that. 34-year-old millennial. If you want an idea of how this meeting went, here's a clip. This runs about 2 minutes. We'll play the whole thing. If we need to, we'll stop it at points. But check this out. Well,
thank you very much. We've just had a great meeting, a really good, very productive meeting. We have one thing in common. We want this city of ours that we love to do very well. And I wanted to congratulate the mayor. He really ran an incredible race against, a lot of smart people, starting with the early primaries against.
All right, hold it. I gotta say that. No, he did not run a race against some very smart people. Andrew Cuomo was stupid. I mean, come on. Gracious is one thing. Can we at least be honest? Zohran Momdani never should have been elected mayor in New York. And not because I'm not even talking about because of his political stance. I'm talking about if Andrew Cuomo had run even a halfway decent primary campaign, Zamdani never wins. Anyway, back to this love fest.
Some very tough people, very smart people. And he beat him easily. And I congratulated him. And we talked about some things in very strong common, like housing and getting housing built, and food and prices, and the price of oil is coming way down. That anything I do is going to be good for New York. If I can get prices down, it's good for New York. And we've got them down, way down from last year. We have, as you know, I've been saying to a lot of people, Walmart said that Thanksgiving this year is exactly 25% less than last year.
Blessed Lord, will you stop talking about this? The only reason that Walmart is 25% cheaper is they're taking items out of the menu. Sorry, folks, I'm ranting this morning and doing it more than I should, but oh my God. There's just only so much that somebody can stand. Sorry for all the rants. Anyway, back to the video.
So that's good for New York, good for everybody. But I just want to congratulate. I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am. I will say there's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him to make everybody's dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Please.
I appreciated the meeting with the president, and as he said, it was a productive meeting focused on a place of shared admiration and love, which is New York City, and the need to deliver affordability to New Yorkers, the 8.5 million people who call our city their home, who are struggling to afford life in the most expensive city in the United States of America. We spoke about rent, we spoke about groceries, we spoke about utilities, we spoke about the different ways in which people are being pushed out, and I appreciated the time with the president. I appreciated the conversation. I look forward to working together to deliver that affordability for New Yorkers.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's the video. I mean, like I said, not that I expected them to be, putting on boxing gloves and going at it for 15 rounds like Ali and Frazier, but you wouldn't expect these two to hit it off as well as they did. Now, again, what happened behind closed doors, we're never going to know. But apparently, they hit it off. They just got along swimmingly. Oh, well, I don't. Well, now look, I don't know if ranting is a way to prevent kidney stones, but it definitely is a way to reduce one's blood pressure. Look, haven't we all been there? A good rant, well placed, is just sometimes what you need to get it out of your system. Tell me if I'm wrong. Anyway, but yeah, let's take a look at this. Like I said, we got this from the New York Post. And no, I don't know that I'd call what I'm doing right now Trump derangement syndrome. As much as I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Dude, we know you rant from time to time. I'm just saying. Oh, gosh. From the New York Post. Momdani, Trump's expected slugfest turns into a love fest as president says socialist will make New York greater than ever before. Article by Stephen Nelson, Craig McCarthy, and Matt Troutman. We got the following. Dateline, Washington, D.C. They have found comrade ground. Momdani's high-stakes White House meeting turned into a Freaky Friday love fest. I love the way this is written. This is great. As President Trump lauded the socialist mayor-elect and predicted he'll make New York City great again. A sitting Trump, with Momdani standing by his side behind the resolute desk, heaped praise on the Democratic socialist, jovially touching his arm as he helped him dodge tough questions and unexpectedly predicted his mayoralty to be a success, or will be a success, excuse me. Quote, I think he wants to make it greater than ever before, Trump told reporters, and if he can, we'll be out there cheering. I'll be cheering for him. The erstwhile foes' gobsmackingly friendly joint appearance came after a 45-minute closed-door sit-down in the Oval Office, with which they both touted as productive and focused on Momdani's core campaign issue of affordability. Quote, he's different than your typical guy, Trump said, adding Momdani has a real chance to really do something great for New York. Momdani notably avoided taking any bait to praise Trump, though he did offer that the president's better-than-expected showing in New York City during the 2024 presidential election came because of his focus on kitchen table issues. The mayor-elect said he wanted to focus on delivering real-world results for New Yorkers rather than duke it out with the president over their vast differences. Quote, I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear on our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, but also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. Trump agreed. Quote, we have one thing in common. We want the city of ours that we love to do very well, Trump said as the two began fielding questions following their confab. Okay, let's talk about this for a minute. I don't know if Trump showed weakness as much as Trump was trying to get something out of his meeting with Momdani. Okay. Let me explain what I'm getting at. Trump knows he's got a problem right now. Now, what he does with this knowledge is going to be anybody's guess, but he knows he's got a problem. The election results from November 5th prove that. Republicans took a shellacking all over the country. The whole, well, it was just in blue states being blue. No, that's garbage. I mean, we've talked about it, here on the channel, where you had elected Republican officials in places all around the country, in offices that they had held or had been held by Republicans for decades, just get wiped out. Totally. Trump knows he's got a problem. And I mean, it manifests in various ways, but if you got to sum it up, Trump knows that he's got a problem with his messaging, number one, and number two, what he's focusing on. And right now, that needs to be affordability. And Scott brings up a really good point. Don't forget that Mark Mitchell is the head of Rasmussen Polling, went to D.C. this week and warned Trump about his messaging, and I think Jack Posobiec did later. The Momdani thing may have triggered something. I think you're on to something, Scott, to be perfectly honest. I really do. I think you're on to something, brother. Trump not just needs to show, but he needs to do. Let's just put those two things, separate them for a second, okay? There are things Trump needs to do on the question of affordability in America, okay? He also needs to message to people, hey, I'm aware of your concerns. I realize we got problems. We're working on them. Here's what we're doing. I honestly think, and to go back to Scott's point that Scott made a minute ago, I think that that's part of what this was about. Trump used the meeting with Momdani to his political advantage. He said, hey, I mean, look, think about it. I mean, look, I'm going to paraphrase that 2-minute clip, and the paraphrase goes like this. Hey, look, I know New Yorkers especially are worried about, cost of living. They're worrying about, rising rent. They're worrying about housing prices. They're worried about, being able to get the basics in life. And, I'm meeting with this guy. That's what he ran on. We're trying to find places where we agree. Let's work together. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am criticizing Donald Trump for all kinds of dumb lately. But honestly, from a political standpoint, what Trump did yesterday with Momdani was brilliant. Okay, maybe brilliant's a little too strong of a praise, but you get my point. Trump used a meeting that everybody expected to turn into some kind of verbal slugfest and turned it into an advantage to himself in that moment. I think it's smart. I really do. I think this is the Donald Trump I'd like to see more of, and a whole lot less of him going out to Truth Social and ragging on people like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Thomas Massey or whoever. What I saw yesterday in Trump's meeting with Momdani is what I'd really love to see more of out of him. Okay. Yeah, and this is a huge problem too. He needs to clean house. Problem is, he's going to keep them around till the November election, and they're going to be part of the reason he loses. I agree with this wholeheartedly. I was visiting with my mother last night, Mall Trippett, and she had the TV on Fox News, and I was watching it and feeling my blood pressure rise doing it. And it's nothing, and that's not a slam on Ma Trippett, bless her heart. She is of a certain generation. She watches TV and she watches Fox News. Okay, fine. And I forget how the subject came up. And I said, yeah, there's some people around Trump. They got to go. I said to her, I could think of about four or five people that Trump needs to get rid of immediately. The Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, Kash Patel needs to go. There's four right there. They got to go. They're dumb. Really just dumb. I'd probably throw Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, into that too. They're just in one form. Well, and I'd probably throw Rubio out while I'm at it. But then again, I'm kind of hardcore in that regard. I think Rubio's got too much of a case of a neocon. Well, I don't know. If Bessent just stayed in his lane and worried about economics, then I wouldn't be so fast to want to get rid of him. But Bessent likes to get out of his lane too much. Start tinkering with things that he should ought to leave alone. Anyway, get back to Trump and Monday for a second. Like I said, I think brilliant is probably too much. I gave Trump a little too much credit. But what he did yesterday with Momdani was politically smart. Yeah, throw her into she's got to go. There's so many smart things that could be done through the Department of Agriculture, and she's just not there. Brooke Rollins, by the way, Secretary of Ag. For various reasons, I think Rubio could have been. I just every so often he starts going back to his neoconservative roots on foreign policy, and it's just like, God, like, geez. Anyway, but the meeting with Momdani, very smart the way Trump played it. Very smart. I give him credit on that one. That's the Trump. That's the kind of messaging that Trump needs. I hear you. I hear you about affordability. I hear you about cost of living. I hear you about inflation. We're working on it. And here specifically is what we're doing. I think it was Scott who mentioned in chat. He mentioned that Mark Mitchell went down to the White House. There are people who are trying to get the message to Trump in his White House. Particularly, they're trying to get to J.D. Vance. They're trying to get to others. Okay. And they're trying to get the message to him. I mean, I was listening to a little bit of Alex Jones this week, or going back over listening to the clip. And Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen Polling came on to talk about his visit to the White House. He said, "Well, I can't tell you everything." He said, "But I had a meeting with J.D. Vance. I had a meeting with Susie Wiles." He said, "I had a meeting with Trump." He said, "They all get it." You know, they said they all get it. Now, like I say, how that translates between then and now, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm not trying to be black-pilled about this, but I really do. I think the Democrats are going to take the House. There is an outside shot they could take the Senate. I mean, I'm not trying to depress anybody here, but I'm just, if what happened a few weeks ago in an off-year election is any example of what the Democrats are bringing, they're going to, I mean, think of it like this. If political elections are like plays in a football game, then the Democrats are coming with an all-out blitz. The Democrats are going to bring all 11 men from the backside, and they're trying to sack the quarterback. They're coming with an all-out blitz. I mean, think for you football fans out there, think of the 86 Bears. Think of that defense from the 1986 Chicago Bears team. That's what the Democrats are going to bring next November. They're coming with an all-out blitz. And if Trump wants to minimize the damage, he's got to turn it around in the White House. Friday was an example of how you could do that. Scott says, "You noticed J.D. Vance messaging was on point with problem with neoconservative politics." Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hang on a minute. I want to see if I can find that clip real fast. That's a good example. A real good example. Let me see if I got a real quick clip here. Is this the one I'm looking for? Hang on, folks. I'm trying to see if I can find this real fast. No, that's related to the economy. Anyway, sorry about that. I was hoping I could find this really fast. And let's try one more thing. Maybe I can. No, that was back in August. Anyway, yeah, I agree with you. He was, I mean, J.D. Vance was on point the other day. Totally. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to get rid of Pam Bondi. This is definitely one of them. Definitely. Now, going back to the meeting, there's a clip that Salty sent me. And this is actually kind of funny. And I'll play it for you guys. So check this out.
To Stephen Nelson, he asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And Mr. President, I wanted to
Trump's like, yeah, go ahead and call me a fascist. It's just go ahead. It's easier for you to do it that way. That was funny. That was truly funny. But yeah, I mean, more of that, less of attacking the people who are trying to help you. Oh, that's what you were referring to? The weakness? Okay. 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 I can see where you're coming from on that. I can see where you're coming from on that. Yeah, that's true too. That is true. No lying there, brother. Ah. Oh, you're saying Momdani looked weak. Okay, okay. All right. Well, okay. Kind of see that. Um, Momdani, well, let me give you a local example. And people here in my hometown are going to understand this maybe better than anybody else. For those who watch here in the state of West Virginia, back in 2000, there was a very young man. I mean, he had to have been in his 20s at the time, who ran against a two-term Republican mayor. Okay. And I didn't think this guy had a snowball's chance of beating this mayor. I mean, she'd been in for 2 terms. Yeah, she'd done some things that were unpopular, but but um but I didn't think there's any way she'd win. Well, this kid, like I said, he had to have been in his middle 20s at the time, just out of college. No, he had just graduated from college. I take that back. He was maybe a year or 2 out of college. He had been like 23 or 24 years old. Wound up beating her. And let me tell you something. Until he got his legs under him, oh man, public appearances for him were rough because he looked like a 20-something-year-old kid who was now the mayor of a major city in West Virginia. That, when I look at Momdani, that's what it reminds me of. I mean, just from my own experience. And I'm sure you guys have seen similar individuals who don't look like they belong where they're at. They just look out of place. And that's what this reminded me of so much. The guy's name was Fellenton. Yeah, David Fellenton. That's who it was. David Fellenton. Huh. Interesting. Really interesting. All right. Oh, no, you're saying Trump looked weak. Oh, okay. All right. Then I understood you right the first time. My bad. All right. Let us move on to a different topic. And I don't know if I should be optimistic about this or not. I really don't. Because this has been tried and failed so many times now, but I think uh is brisket is overrated? Well, I don't know if brisket's overrated or not. That comment is straight out of left field. I have no idea if brisket is overrated or not, sir. You'll have to give me some details on that one. Anyway, I don't know if I should be optimistic about this, but I am optimistic that maybe, just maybe, finally, the Trump administration is listening to people and doing what they should have done all along. Now, what am I getting at? I'm sure by now all of you have heard about this peace proposal that the Trump administration has put out there to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. It's a very interesting plan. I mean, I've got it here. We'll take a look at it here in just a moment. But a lot of pressure apparently is being put on Zelensky in Ukraine to take the deal. And when you understand some of the background as to the why, it's going to make sense. I got a story here from Newsweek. Trump sets Thanksgiving deadline for Russia-Ukraine peace deal. Article by Amanda Castro, Hannah Perry, Brendan Cole, Matthew Robinson, Shane Croucher, and John Feng. We've got the following. Ukraine has agreed to discuss U.S. President Donald Trump's 28-point peace plan, the full draft text of which has now emerged, and made clear its red lines to the United Nations Security Council, including no recognition of Ukrainian territory as Russia and no limits. However, European leaders rallied behind Zelensky on Friday, rejecting parts of a U.S. peace proposal and insisting Ukraine's military must maintain its ability to defend its sovereignty, with the current front lines serving as the basis of any negotiation. Trump is seeking to broker a peace treaty between Russia and Ukraine by the end of 2025, CNN reported Friday, citing different sources. Officials said renewed negotiations had become a priority following the Gaza ceasefire, with Washington considering the involvement of mediators from that conflict, including Qatar and Turkey. Going a little bit further into the article, the full text of Trump's 28-point draft peace plan was revealed. The proposals include U.S. recognition of occupied territories as Russian and a 600,000 troop limit on the size of the Ukraine army. Trump's draft plan also contains security agreements for Kiev, no NATO expansion, and natural resource deals. Russia is expected not to invade its neighboring countries, enshrine the non-aggression policy against Europe and Ukraine into law. Ukraine will accept any limits on its right to self-defense, will not accept, limits on its right to self-defense or on the rights or size of armed forces. White House, off the back of the Gaza peace deal, is eyeing a Russia-Ukraine deal by 25. U.S. now consulting with European allies, etc., and so on. Okay, let's talk about this. I have said the smartest thing Trump could do, and by the way, this thought is not necessarily original to me, okay? It's not original to me at all, but the smartest thing Trump could ever do is look at Zelensky and go, we're cutting off your military aid, we're cutting off your money, we're cutting off the intelligence sharing. Take the deal. It's the smartest thing Trump ever could have done. I think now they're finally there. This is the deal, more or less, that Trump's giving him. And that's the pressure that's being brought. But that sort of begs the question, why? Well, I think you're going to begin to understand when I show you the following. Let me see if I can get to it. Yeah, this does a pretty good job of it. We'll just pop this back up here. Okay. Let me show you a map. Let's see if I can make this a little bit better for you guys. Okay. Yeah, I think this is going to work. I think this is going to work out just fine. Okay, let me pop this back up here for you guys. And again, this is from the Newsweek article. These red areas down here, this right here was the area of Russia that Russia controlled before the war started in February of 2022. Okay, here. Okay, but in particular here on the southern front. Now watch this. Russia has moved north. Their positions in Luhansk, Kharkiv, Pokrovsk, Zaporizhia, Kherson, and the Russian control of the Crimea. Now, I point all this out. The reason, in part, and by the way, I recommend you listen to the Duran, Alex Christofaro and Alexander Macoris, and not just the Duran, but also the Gaggle, Peter Lavelle and George Samueli. All of them great commentators on social media on foreign policy. But it's becoming obvious to everybody that Ukraine's like, we're winning the war, we're beating back the Russians. No, the Russians are taking everything they want. Period. End of discussion. Okay? They're winning everywhere. If Trump doesn't get these guys to do a deal, before you know it, he has no negotiating leverage. The Russians could take by force anything they want and not even have to worry about a peace deal. At this stage, the Ukrainian army is so battered and so beaten. If Putin wanted to march straight to the capital, to Kiev, I don't think he can be stopped. I really don't. I don't think he can be stopped. And now Trump has figured out that people like, General Kellogg and others have been lying to him the whole time about how things are really going on the battlefield. If Trump doesn't get this deal or some kind of a deal soon, there's no sense of him even trying anymore, because the Russians are going to basically accomplish every military objective that they've got. And never have to negotiate for anything. They're constantly moving. And it's just incredible where they're going with it here. I've got another, let me see. Yeah, this is from Axios. Trump peace plan for Ukraine includes NATO-style security guarantee. Document includes lines for signatures for Ukraine, NATO, and Russia. Security guarantee would be for initial 10 years. This could get real interesting, folks. Really interesting indeed. And there's a lot of pressure being brought to the Ukrainians to take the deal. And frankly, as bad off as they are militarily right now, they oughta. I don't think, and this is just me talking here, I don't think we're ever going to know. We're never going to know how badly we have how do I want to put this? I don't think we're ever going to know until somewhere way down the line how much damage we did to the country and the people of Ukraine with this war that we helped instigate. Well, and that's a great point, Salty. That's a genuinely great point. If the Russians were looking to conquer Ukraine, we still wouldn't be talking about 3 or 4 years later. They've never wanted to conquer Ukraine. Never. All they ever wanted, and again, I am not trying to be any kind of apologist for Vladimir Putin. Okay, so take this for what it's worth. All the Russians have ever wanted was the guarantee that NATO would never be allowed to put missiles or troops up on their border. That's all they've ever wanted. For going on now, 30 plus years, they want the West to live up to the commitment they made to Mikhail Gorbachev at the end of the Cold War, that NATO would not be allowed to expand eastward. And yet NATO kept expanding, kept moving further east, kept moving up on Russia's border. And frankly, the only 2 countries left are Belarus to the north, which will never allow NATO in, and Ukraine. Well, and this is something people do not talk about enough. There is a significant neo-Nazi presence in Ukraine. Yep, this is true too. This is what they've always wanted. Crazy. Just crazy. Yeah. They're right now the Ukraine army is conscripting men in their 60s. Boys below the age of 18 are barely men at all. And for what? A proxy war that we're fighting with the Russians. It's just insane. Absolutely insane. I hope, I really do, I hope that they can get this thing done before the end of the year. And not for the politics of it. Seriously, not for the politics of it. For the preservation of what little is left of Ukraine, if nothing else. Well, if the Russians don't get Zelensky, his own people will. And Zelensky knows this. He knows that if he goes out of office, his days on this planet might very well be numbered. And I'm not exaggerating that either. So we'll see what happens. Let me do this for you guys. If you want to take a deep dive into that plan that Trump's got out there, I just dropped the links to a Axios story that's got the full 28-point plan. So take a look at it. Tell me what you guys think. All right. One more thing, and after that, we're going to bring the train into the station. And we're going to put this one on, well, two things, actually. Two things. Did I? Oh, yeah. Two things. A lot of people are saying this, and I can understand why they're saying it. You know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I was asked to talk about this, and I saw this in chat. This falls under the heading of HodgePodege. Now, for those of you who are maybe new to the live stream, you've come here for the first time, HodgePodege is that collection of stories on Saturday morning that don't get quite all the attention they should. They kind of fly under the radar, and not a bad idea to talk about them or bring them to your attention if you haven't seen them. For example, try this on for size. American who spied for Israel says he met Ambassador Mike Huckabee to, quote, thank him for his support. Jonathan Pollard, an ex-U.S. intelligence analyst, spent 30 years in prison on espionage charges, having been found to have passed documents on to Israel. This is from NBC News. There's a picture of Pollard. That's when he was released from prison in 2015. Convicted Israeli spy Jonathan Pollard downplayed the controversy around his private meeting with U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee, telling NBC News the visit was personal and wasn't done surreptitiously. The main point of the meeting at the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem in July, Pollard said, was to thank the ambassador, quote, for his efforts on my behalf during my incarceration. Pollard, a former American intelligence analyst, spent 30 years in prison on espionage charges after being found to have passed critical security documents to Israeli intelligence in the 1980s. Israel made Pollard a citizen after his lengthy prison term, and he moved there in 2020, 5 years after his release on probation. During Pollard's detention, Huckabee was among several pro-Israeli politicians who advocated for his release, arguing the sentence was too severe for someone who had been spying for an ally. Oh my God. I got to read that sentence again. Arguing that the prison sentence was too severe for someone who'd been spying for an ally. So let me get this straight. Let me make sure I understand the logic of this. You're saying the prison sentence was too severe, and because Jonathan Pollard passed along state secrets to a country that is supposedly our ally, that we shouldn't hold him in. Wait. Okay, so they spied on us. We caught the guy doing it. But because they're supposedly a buddy of ours, we shouldn't have sentenced him for as long as he did. Excuse me. I don't care if it was Israel, the Soviets back in the day. I don't care who it was. You don't do, yeah, exactly. You don't do that. If the sentence that he could have been given was 30 years, I don't care who he was spying for. I'm sorry, he got what he had coming. Oh, but it's Israel. We can't sentence him to a 30-year prison term. They're our buddies. What difference does that make? Seriously? This was Mike Huckabee's argument? Hey, Israel are friends of ours. Just because he was passing along state secrets that they shouldn't even know, that they shouldn't even know about doesn't mean we ought to put the guy in jail. What would you want to do? Give him a medal? The Israelis reward. Excuse me. Hang on one second. The Israelis rewarded him well enough. Hell, they made him a citizen. Just amazing to me. Yeah, it feels like it. It feels like it. It really does. Oh, this is so true, Gypsy. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Goodness me. So true indeed. But yeah. Jonathan Pollard, the former, the convicted spy, let me put it like that. The convicted spy who was spying on behalf of our good buddies, the Israelis, met with our ambassador to thank him for trying to get him a reduced sentence, because after all, hey, if you're spying for one of our allies, we shouldn't really put you in jail. Oh, I'm about to start ranting again. I'm about to start ranting. Good Lord. Unbelievable. Okay. Now, I don't know. Another story. No. I'm not going to rant. I am not going to rant. I've been doing too much ranting this morning. I appreciate the fact that you would like to see me get this out of my system, but I'm going to I'm not going to do it. I'm going to maintain a certain level of calm and professionalism that you all have come to expect on my live streams. And I will refrain. I will refrain from ranting. But I will say this. Yeah, we're gonna, dear. We're gonna. All right. You know what? That other story can wait. Lana, I think you're absolutely right. Let's end this on a funny note. Hang on a minute. I'm going to play part of a video for you guys. I'm not sure if we're going to play all of it because I know what YouTube's going to do. YouTube's going to be like, at least I think I'm going to be able to play it. Okay. All right. Yeah, I will. I think you guys are going to get a kick out of this. Have you guys heard of the comedian Matt Rife? Well, apparently he had a run-in with a lady named Christina Reader, and his interaction with her is fairly funny. Lana sent this to me. Like I said, this runs about 10 minutes. I don't know if we're going to play the whole thing, but we'll play part of it because Matt Rife is hysterical. If you've never seen his comedy, I really recommend this guy to you. So let's end on something funny. So check this out.
Frustrated, a gift maybe help? Baby, after the show. No. Come on, dog. Thank you so much. What is this? Well, don't clap. It could be a bomb. We don't know. We don't know yet. I came to Iowa and I guess. Yeah.
That's because of the other. That's because of the Build-A-Bear joke.
Listen, guys, I've never ended a show early before, but I'm sure you would all understand if I had to wrap things up, right? There's one more thing in here. Cookies? Are you kidding me? The blowjob's gonna have a hard time beating this. This is fantastic. It's like the perfect consistency too. Oh my God. Thank you so much. What's your name? Christina? You are so hot. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
She's a grandma.
You're a grandma? Let's put that shower chair to use. There's already plastic on the furniture. Let's make a mess, you know? How old are you? Say it. Say it. This is dirty talk to me. Come on, let's say a number. 40, 45? Are you serious? Are you from here? Really? We gotta get you out of here. We gotta get you the fuck out of here. Minneapolis at least. Let's just get you out. Let's just get you down the road. You're not married or anything? You bunch of fucking idiots. Oh my God, you local morons not marrying this beautiful woman who makes great cookies. Stupid. I'm so sorry. What, are you divorced? How long were you married for? 16 years? God, I'm so sorry. How many kids do you have? 4. Oh, what? That's enough though, right? You have your tubes tied? You do? I'm gonna fucking move in the morning.
Okay. Like I said, well, I have been requested to put this link in chat, and we're absolutely going to do it. I know YouTube's going to pop me for this, but you know what? That's just too funny. That is just way too funny. But give me a second here. Yeah, Lana shared this with me. If you guys want a good chuckle, yeah, this one I recommend to you. Hang on. There it is on the Rumble side, and here it comes on the YouTube side. Okay, there you go, folks. Yeah, that Matt Rife is hysterical, just genuinely hysterical. So I really recommend that one to you. I do indeed. All right, we're going to bring this train into the station. I'm glad we got a chance to do this. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a second. What part is that at? What part is that at? Can you give me an idea of where it's at? Just I don't have to be precise. Just give me, because there was a meme that we did Thursday that we did on Thursday about breast surgeons and squeaky boobs. At least 3 minutes. Okay. All right. Hang on a minute. Let me pop that up there. About the 5-minute mark. All right. Okay. Hang on. I'll put this back up here. Hang on a minute. Yeah, we did a meme about if plastic surgeons put squeaky toys in breast implants, the world would be a much better place. So yeah, I okay, now I see where we're going here. Okay. All right, I think I've got this. Let's see if we can find this real quick. Okay, hang on, let's try it.
That's bad. But if the one in Jacksonville goes missing, mind your business. Okay? She's in good hands. Got your phone? All right, let's swipe out of Instagram and see what else is in here. Now let's go through a photo album. Let's
No, wait.
Uh-oh.
Here's the thing. I won't open it if you just tell me what's in there.
I had a lump in my breast.
You had a lump in your breast?
I had a mammogram.
You had a mammogram recently.
I'm best friends with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I FaceTimed my daughter, the hot one.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, you're not going to ask for ugly people's advice. Yeah, I totally get it.
So there's screenshots of her and I FaceTime you.
With just a tit out. Fuck. Because, like, you know it's in the palm of your hands. Did you get the results back?
Yes.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
Need a second opinion? You sure? Text messages. Come on.
Name in the history.
Okay, this is just too funny. Folks, check that one out today. All right, let's bring it into the station. Thank you ever so much for being here on a Saturday. It's always good to be able to have brunch with you guys. And we will be back next week with some videos. Next week is Thanksgiving. Schedule yet to be determined. People coming in from out of town. The lady and I are going to spend some time together. So yeah, for sure on Tuesday. Rest of the week, we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. It's been a load of fun. And thank you for all the support, all the love, everything you guys do. Have yourselves a great weekend. And remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, it's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money. Have a great weekend. Thanks for being here for brunch. We'll catch up with you guys later. Bye-bye.